All right, guys, the Utah Jazz break their losing streak tonight against the Washington Wizards. This is the Hoopster postgame show. This win it's nice for the Jazz to win, obviously, but this win, I can't help but feel a little empty. Getting a win like this, I mean, it's the Washington Wizards, and a win is a win, and it doesn't matter in the end. But it took the Jazz playing against one of the epically bad defenses in the league to actually be able to win a game. It's frustrating for Jazz fans who are looking for any sort of hope with this Jazz team to get over the hump. All right, first things first, you got to talk about Bradley Beal, who was fantastic tonight. Bradley Beal scores, I believe, 42 points tonight. Bradley Beal, 42 points, 51% from the field, 40% from three, just an absolute offensive force. Bradley Beal was awesome. I love that guy. I don't know if he's going to be on the Wizards next year, if they trade him, if they don't. But whatever your thoughts on Bradley Beal, he's a good dude who is just really, really great. Should have been an all-star over Ben Simmons. I tell you that. That's like an easy choice. I don't understand how Ben Simmons, who's can't shoot a ball, is on the all-star team, but Brad Beal is scoring 42 points and 50 points and all these insane numbers that he does and doesn't make it. It's weird. But anyways, the Wizards are an offensive team with zero defense. And we'll see what happens with them next year. I don't have a lot to say about the Wizards, honestly. Thomas Bryant's nice. Yeah, that was a steal. He's a good player. Bertans is nice. And Rui Hachimura had a nice night. That's a nice rookie. They're filling their team with nice players. It's crazy how much better they are once they get rid of a crap GM in Ernie Grunfeld. It's amazing what you're able to do once you have someone up top making good decisions at the very least. Whether they have a great organization top to bottom, I don't know. But at least they have someone making good decisions. For Utah, it's like I said, it just feels a little bit like empty calories beating the Wizards, who have a terrible defense, and Utah's able to, it gets a win. One thing that I liked is that they were really trying to get the ball to Rudy Gobert. If there's a problem with the Jazz right now, it's chemistry. The chemistry is just terrible. And to see them try to get Rudy the ball means that there is an effort to fix that they want to get things right. And maybe they're doing that because it's against the Wizards and they're trying to see if, ways to do that. And, the frustrating thing is the ball, he either, it would get deflected or it wasn't, Rudy wasn't ready for the pass or whatever it was. And it didn't work out. And it's frustrating. It's like you want this Jazz team to just get it right. And it's not quite there, but at least the effort is there. At least the players are seeing the frustration with Rudy Gobert and trying to fix that and get him the ball. And so that's one thing I like to see. That, honestly, seeing that at the beginning of the game, it was a little heartwarming, honestly, because this team is fractured right now. Chemistry-wise, I have no expectation for them to win any game, so I guess that's why I should be a little more happy when they beat the Wizards tonight, even though they're not a great team. But the Jazz have lost to bad teams like the Suns, and it wasn't even close. And the Jazz found a way to win tonight, and it felt like Rudy's effort was higher on defense today. If you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to that Tony Jones, Zach Harper podcast. Their most recent one, I think it's called like Jazz Notes or something like that. But anyways, go listen to that podcast. Look up the Athletic Tony Jones podcast. You can listen to it. But they talked about how Rudy in the last few games has been playing like, if you're not going to get me the ball when I'm open on offense, then don't expect me to defend your man when you get beat. And that was super apparent in that last game against Boston. There were, the Jazz possibly could have won that game if Rudy's effort was at a high level. But Rudy was just saying, you know what? I'm sick and tired of you guys not getting me the ball when I'm open and then expecting me to just cover up all your mistakes. So you're not helping me out on the offensive end. You're not helping me out on the defensive end either. And I don't know where any of you stand, and you can probably, I'm sure there are people that were angry at Rudy for something like that. I'm sure there's people that are in Rudy's corner, kind of like me. I'm somewhere in the middle. I feel like Rudy is one of the most cornerstone pieces of this team, and this losing streak where the Jazz defense has just fallen off a cliff. In the last, I think it's like 13, 14 games, the Jazz have like a 114 or 117 defensive rating and only like a 111 offensive rating. They've been awful, and the defense has fallen off. And that's because I think Rudy Gobert is frustrated. Right now, he's eligible for a Supermax, and he hasn't gotten it. And so when he's not getting the ball, when he's wide open from his teammates, he's frustrated, you know? And so I think he's sending messages to teammates, and I think he's sending messages to front office saying, you don't think I matter? Well, how about these last 14, 15 games where you've lost 9 and won 4 or whatever it is? You don't think I matter? Because if you want to win games, you better take care of me. Now, if you want to give Rudy a supermax or not, that is the question, you know? But right now, it's very clear when Rudy Gobert is like at peak level, the Jazz are a great team. When he's not, they are not. They can't beat good teams. And so the Jazz need to find a way to get things right with Rudy. And that's also coaching too. Coaching needs to figure this out. The coaching staff has to find ways to get this team right and get, you know, and during the broadcast, we talk about how good the Jazz are with spot up threes and things like that. The Jazz need to find ways to get more of that. And the fact that it's so hard to get Rudy the ball, the coaching staff needs to figure out ways to make that easier. Or if teams are doing things to counter the Jazz pick and roll, then the Jazz have to figure out ways to counter that, to find ways to overcome opposing teams. And I don't think they've figured that out yet, obviously, because we can only beat teams like the Wizards if we can even beat them. Right now, we certainly can't beat the Celtics or the Lakers or Boston or the Celtic or the Lakers or the Clippers. It's just the Jazz aren't a great team right now. They're a good enough team that can beat bad teams and get smashed by good teams. You know, they've got to figure it out. It's an absolute mess. One thing that will help them out, Joe Ingles and Bojan Bogdanovic shooting the ball better again. Tonight, it was nice to see Bogey looked close to himself. Now, it's against the Wizards. That's why this sucks. Everything's grain of salt. But Bojan Bogdanovic shoots 4 for 9 from 3. Nice to see, because he couldn't hit a shot last game. 1 for 8 or whatever it was. The other nice thing to see, Joe Ingles shot the ball. He actually shot it. 2 for 4 from 3. You'll take it. It's against the Wizards, but you'll take it. So, you know, guys, take this video with a grain of salt. I don't know what you think. It's about the Wizards and the Jazz. I don't know what to think, honestly. It's nice for them to win. It's great, but it feels like empty calories, you know? It doesn't feel... There's no meat to it. And so I want to see this Jazz team obviously win. You know, they're going to be able to beat the Knicks. Woo! They're going to be able to beat like we did tonight, beat the Wizards and play Detroit, who's the worst team in the league. Woo! We can win those games, and they better win those games, honestly, because losing is much worse. But you want to see this Jazz team get a flow going and get like a hierarchy of plays and sets and just get right chemistry-wise. But you can tell this team is frustrated. They cannot beat good teams, and it sucks. They can beat teams like Washington, which is great. It's better than losing, obviously, but they can't beat the good ones. And there's no telling when that's going to be able to, if that's ever going to happen. Oh, by the way, also, so people who are big Mike Conley fans, he had a nice night tonight. I actually felt like Mike Conley was a big reason they won this game. He just was making the right passes. And if ever anyone on the team who was making the right pass, it was Mike Conley. He was the one getting Rudy the ball in the right spot. It was nice to see. It was very nice to see. Shout out to Mike Conley. Guys, like and subscribe to this channel. I will talk to you later.